What is going on, everyone, and welcome to a special video. So this is a follow-up. Recently I made a top 10 beginners guide tips video, and one of the things I mentioned in that video was make sure to change your settings if you are a new player. Everything is on by default, and it may be very confusing. You're going to see all these random pop-ups on your screen, and you're just like, wow, I'm so confused. I have no idea what to do. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you my settings that I have, and whether it's optimal or not. I have these mostly because, one, I am a YouTuber and sometimes I stream, so that means it works a little bit differently than if you're just playing. However, some of these are also going to be like UI and stuff I think you should turn off and on as well. Even just for your average player, I think this might be good for you. But also just for people, there are a few people, not a lot, but a few people who have asked me, can I just show my settings? So I figured, let's just make a dedicated video and show you everything. Let's just go from top to bottom. And there are some things that people may have different like results than I do, but feel free to share your results in the comments below as well. So if other people need advice, I'm sure you guys can help as well. Anyway, let's starting off with the graphics and textures. A while back, I used to play on remastered, but it's not that as bad. It actually looks really good. It's just a little too bright for me, even with a lot of tweaks. Plus, I hate to say this, but in this game, people are like FPS equals DPS, and it really is. It's not like your skills do different damage with it, but it's just like if you get CC'd or something, the time it takes to get back up, if you have lower FPS versus higher, is actually pretty substantial. And you can see some actual test videos that people have done all over Reddit, YouTube, and you can even ask some streamers about it as well. So that way, it's like, if you've ever seen some montages of like PvP clips on YouTube, or you just see people streaming and you're wondering why they play on like the lowest settings, that's because you perform better with higher FPS. That's why they're like hard lowest settings, even if they have like some supercomputer, but that's why. So anyway, I think this might be a weird place to test because we're literally in the middle of town. That's why my FPS isn't as high as it could be. But I used to play on remastered. Now I just play on high and very high. So that's what I do. If anything, I would probably want to make sure the graphics are okay. The texture quality, it's noticeable, but it's not like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Remastered is just very bright. Things look really nice. Ultra is more for people who like to like take screenshots and good stuff like that. Non like PvP combat and whatnot. So in terms of the anti-aliasing, I personally like FXAA more. TAA seems kind of blurry, and you'll probably get a little bit more performance out of TAA, but I just like my games to look good, first of all. And everything else in terms of like what I need versus what I don't need. So shadows in pretty much every game, drop your FPS because it's just an extra thing to do. So I don't care about like shadows. Yeah, makes your game look nicer and more realistic, but do I need it? Is it worth the FPS? No. Visual clarity, display filter is like when you take a screenshot and then, yeah, let me just show you, for example. You see how if I hide my UI and everything is clear in the background, the display clarity, if you do that in the background, it will be like a blur in the background. Far away objects, if you have it off, you don't see like as clearly in the background, but it's not as bad. Obviously the picture just shows you like the difference, but if you're trying to have higher FPS, that's the way to go. Depth of field, camera effects, I think that one's the one that like blurs the background. Display far away NPCs in the background more clearly. I don't really think I need it. I think it's just one of those more visually nice things to have that doesn't tank my FPS that much. So I think it's one of those trade-offs. Show blinking effect when your character is attacked, a hit effect. I don't care. I've played for a long time without it. Reduce the snow buildup. Honestly, this is really only a winter season effect, like, or just winter, like when it snows in the middle of September all the way to like February when they have the setting on. I don't care to see it too much. It's visually nice, but that's it. Optimization. This one is a weird one. I've tested it on and off multiple times, and I don't really notice too much of a difference. Especially sometimes I'll leave the game, like I tabbed out, or send it to Trey or whatnot, which ultimately less relevant. But I've tried playing with the AMD FX on. Make sure to turn off the low power option, because that just you don't want it. Turn off to, or like you don't want this on. So anyway, attack decisions. It's kind of good to see what you're doing, because a lot of skills in this game are, since it doesn't show numbers, you want to see what you're doing. So like if you hit a back attack or a critical, as the picture shows, you want to see those because it doesn't show numbers. And so it'll help you perform in both PvP and PvE, seeing how as the different, like how attack decisions are shown, you want to make sure you know you're doing things properly, and with enough practice, it's just good to visualize it. The miss effect is something they added recently, and obviously it does what it says it does. This shows when your attacks and blocks miss. It's not bad. I think it's fine. Might as well just tap it on to show for PvP when things work and whatnot. Performance optimization. I turn this on and off sometimes. Like I'm sure it does help, but whenever I've tested it, it doesn't really help. Like when I've talked to other people that have it on, they said, "Oh, my FPS went up by like either like 2 FPS all the way up to 20." I guess it really depends on your hardware, but for me, it's not really beneficial. Plus, when I use it for recording and streaming, it takes up more resources, especially if I'm recording and whatnot, or streaming. So that's why I have it off. I didn't really notice a difference. If it's on, it's probably very marginal, very little. Effect optimization. I always prioritize performance over effects. I personally enjoy PvP more, as you guys know, and FPS is a lot more important to me, while also still keeping the quality as good as possible, because as much as I say I don't care about like playing older games and graphics don't matter, like for example I could play Minecraft or whatnot, even though Minecraft isn't even that bad, but I still do like a game that looks nice, but I still want to find a balance that I could perform well and have it not look ugly. But I understand why people do it in this game, so that's the thing. So I don't have that on. Character optimization. Adjust how far other adventures will be available or visible. Now this one is something I kind of play with every now and then, because it's like I turn it on for PvP, but aside from that, everything else you don't really, it's not that important. Hide other adventures. I swear this option has been broken for the past few years, or whenever they do it. So depending on the situation, what that means is, like, if you've ever gone to Garmoth and there's like 200 people there, you hit, what is that button? Like Shift F5. You can hide other characters, and it only works when there are a certain number of people within a certain area. So for example, world bosses, when there's too many people there. And even if you have the setting on, it's like it doesn't even go on unless X amount of people are there. So it does work, but not all the time. So I just have mine on because when I'm fighting Garmoth, I want more than 2 FPS, and that was pretty nice to have. So yeah, what else? So we went through this one, that one. Camera performance. This is your FOV. Higher the better. I know some, like, it depends what you do. Do you RP? Do you just like playing the game? And for me personally, I like being able to see more in the game, and that's literally every MMO that's third person. Some people just feel motion sickness if the FOV is lower. So that's why I personally have mine as far out as possible, because I like seeing things. And overall camera effects, don't really care too much. Workers and pets. Hide certain NPCs for better game performance. If the NPC is irrelevant, I don't care. And personally, hide pets versus show pets, I don't need to see it. Like, they're my pets. They follow me in circles. All I care about is my skill effects that are going off. I don't care to see my pets. They just follow and do whatever. Workers, work progress, less relevant. Don't need to see it. I don't know why they have, like, this is their own setting, but sure, why not? Game window, I personally play full screen window because, again, recording and streaming, I have to tab out a lot, and it just makes it easy so I don't have to tab out. I can just move my mouse. I have 3 monitors, so full screen does give me more FPS. So, like, if I'm doing a war or something and I'm not recording, I'll play on full screen. Other than that, windowed full screen. 1080, once again, because recording, I could play and upload things in like 4K if I wanted to, but I just don't care. Most people, here's the thing, like, yeah, I could play when I'm not recording in like 1440 and whatnot, but like, most people don't even have 4K monitors, and if you do, you're not like, you're above and beyond. Most people have like 1440 to 1080, so that's why I just do 1080. It just seems fine. No one's ever complained about it. UI scale, it's kind of personal preference. One of those, if you play in like widescreen monitors and whatnot. I don't have a widescreen. I just have the normal. Crop mode, you know how when you see some other streamers have like black bars at the top and bottom? That's how you can crop out like half the thing. I assume they do it because it's like more FPS efficient, but I don't know. I just like seeing things. So display quality is like the same thing as this one. I don't know why they have it twice, but we'll just go over everything. Yeah, these are all the same settings as before. They just have it in 2 different settings. So when you guys watch my videos, I like Vibrance. Trust me, I've sat there for little hours messing around with all the settings, and I personally think that Vibrance is probably the one I like the most. And yeah, there's a lot of options, but Vibrance just seems the best for me. So I guess this is what people are wondering. Effect opacity higher means less FPS when you throw out skills, but the game does look nicer. Gamma is brightness and darkness. Contrast, darkness. So literally personal preference. This is what I have mine. I think it looks good. Color vision aid. You see how there's a red glow around here? If you do different color vision aids, so like colorblind and all that stuff, it'll be like blue if you are you can't see reds and stuff. So I've just left it on default, but if you can't see it, just mess around with it. I don't really know what these mean, but I just know I've seen other people with it and it turns like blue if you play with different settings. Camera, honestly, most of it is just default. Yeah, I didn't really change it. Screenshots. For all the people who like taking really nice screenshots in 4K, 8K, I don't even think many people even have 8K monitors. 4K is more common, but PNG is nicer quality than JPEG, more or less. BMP is one of those things you take if you want to change the background of your character portraits and whatnot. Watermark is like how things fade in and out. So like, do you want things more transparent, or do you want things like just full on colored, or like how much it fades in and out is kind of what it is. Watermark size, these are all just like if you take a screenshot. I don't care. Audio settings, I'm gonna be honest, if you whisper me in game, I do read it, but I don't like, I have my whispers on a different tab, so I'll see it eventually and probably respond to you. So if I respond to you like 6 hours later, I apologize. I'm not ignoring you, I just didn't see it. So if you really want something and like you see me in game or whatnot, say hi, I'll respond back. Or if you actually have like an important question, hit me up on Discord. That's probably the best way to do it. That's how everyone does it. Discord, YouTube comments, whatnot. Honestly, I have a lot of this off as well, because if you play or you put it on system tray, that means you're like AFK or playing a different game or something. You don't want to hear the BDO music, or maybe you do just want to hear it in the background while you're doing something else. So I do just off. Combat music, voices, I just leave it on default, to be honest. Overall, audio is what you tweak on your own time. As much as I'd love to hear my own character's voices, when you grind for like 5 hours and you're hearing the same noise over and over for like literal countless hours, it gets actually obnoxious. It sounds good for the first few times you do it, and it's just like, okay, let's just listen to like some music while I'm playing. So same with fairy voices. But the only time honestly I keep audio on is when I'm recording. Other than that, if I'm just playing by myself and just doing whatever, all the audio would be off, and I'll have like music or something running in the background. So that's what I do. All right, the general settings. This is where things get a little interesting, and especially with the alerts and stuff. So for all the new players or just people wondering what the settings on, aim assistance. I've played with this on and off a lot. Honestly, just play with the way this game is so janky. You might as well just play with aim assistance on. So, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I wish I had it off. And so I've had it off for like a year, and then I've played with it on for the year. Honestly, sometimes just on is just the best way to go. I've had more situations where just like it helps. So yeah, turn it on. Combat assistance is really just a new player thing, and it puts like a bar or something, I think. And it'll just tell you what things do. Quick slots is a thing that a lot of people have been asking me. So by default, you only get like 10 of them. And quick slots, so in your UI, for example, I think like only certain amounts are on by default, and you can move them as you want. But with the quick slots on, you can have more and just move everything around. So this is what my UI looks like. Yeah, cool, isn't it? Font, I just play it on default, honestly. I know some people with the fonts in the game, they like download custom fonts and then have it, and it looks nice. But I've heard that if you use a custom font in the game, sometimes it could crash your game. So I just play by default. I got used to it. Show and hide. These are basically the rankings and your name tags above your head. So name and ranking, you see this, like name, ranking, titles, and all that stuff. You can actually hide that now. It's a new setting in the game. Display others' name. I could never get used to the stacked HP bar. It could be helpful to show you how much HP people have, but realistically, if you're fighting in a new or equal environment, most people have within 5,000 to 7,000 HP. So that's full buffed as well. So do I really care how much I got them down? No, I don't. The only HP bar that matters is like one bar, full or not full. Only display RBF points. This one you could show, if you turn it off and you're in RBF, you could show your name tag as well. I don't care. Ranking. Ranking is something that's important to me up until a certain point. Like if I only have one or two icons, that's fine. You've seen it in other videos. But when I've done the Arethia's Limbo thing and it's in a special instance and I have like literally every icon and I can't see enemies, that's when I turn it off. Kind of weird flex, but okay. But anyway. But that's it. Yeah, this is what custom settings. I pretty much have everything on by default. Characters. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what I have. Zone change is pretty important. Either that or you just look at your mini-map, quest, NPC status. I'm mostly just spam R, especially because I've been doing this literally multiple times. Conquest War non-participants. Listen, if you're here to watch someone in a siege war, you do not want to be in line of fire of anything. People will just end you. It doesn't even matter. Hide pets, same as option. I don't even know why I showed the ferry. I guess I've gotten used to it. Definitely hide other people's campsites. That is one of the biggest things. It's not that I really care about immersion too much in here, but it's just when I see 50 campsites, especially at the Termian Beach, you guys know this. If you've been playing for over a year and you've seen, like, you know how the Termian Park summer event that comes up every year? And you see like 50 other campsites and you don't know where to place yours? Yeah, that's about it. Sailing, transparent mass is good. It was just funny because when they're coming out with Carrack skins, which I will probably inevitably get, but you can't even see your boat that much. Skill combo guide, it's nice to have. Don't need the combo videos. Shows misses, yes, these are very good. Have them on. Alerts, this is the thing that I wish would be off by default. When you start the game, everything is on by default, so you'll see a million of these pop-ups on the screen, like new player, day one. Imagine this. You're seeing people hit pens, horses sold on the market for 12 billion silver, and it's like, oh, I'm a new day one player. Well, first day playing. You don't need to see all that. So, honestly, you don't need this. The only thing that I think might be important is notifications to show up at the bottom of your screen. So what this does, like if you hit the central market, you could see when an item is sold or something you have gotten purchased. So this is the only thing I think would be important to have on day one. Just notifications, but everything else, like, does anyone care when someone hits a success or a fail? No. Do you care if someone levels up in the game? No. No one cares. Imperial Trading is a thing they've made a change to the settings that's like Imperial Trading used to be a thing where there was caps back in the day. So you can Imperial trade X amount of items per day. They removed that cap, so basically this setting is irrelevant. They should just remove it from the game. World map. Personal preference. Language, literally personal preference. Miscellaneous. You can set your UI theme. You see this one? This is the summer event. You could change that. They added a spring season. And that one has shies and llamas. But I don't know. I honestly have just kept mine on like the summer thing for the past year. Navigation. Let me show you how it works. Set an auto path somewhere. See that line? That's what it means. This is what you want for sailing and water ones as well. Smooth. Personal preferences. yeah, just more of this that I kind of left on by default. Other than that, this is all just interface UI. The only real thing I changed in my quick slots and UI is, like, you see here, how it's like F6 to F12. That's personal custom settings, and yeah, other than that, like, these are on by default. You can have as many or as few as you want. Action hotkeys. The only thing I really swapped out was really jump space by default. It's not a problem. I have a mouse that I can jump with my mouse, so it's mouse function 1. And then there's another one that I swapped out, which is the C swap, like for awakening to main hand. I have it on another mouse function instead of C, so basically if I do this, for example, I could do that. So awakening, non, and instead of C swapping, so like, hold on, let me show you. If I go into, yeah, let me just go outside for a second. So C swap is, you see that animation? See how it takes so long to do? Eventually, the more you play this game, the more you learn to animation cancel, and you don't have to watch this animation. Plus, you can actually do some things differently if you just have it on. So one of those things you just learn over time. Animation cancels. Every game has them, more or less. And yeah, everything else is just UI settings. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or have your performance tweaks, feel free to leave it in the comments. Happy to hear what you guys think. Especially, I would love to hear your feedback on the whole where is it? Do you use this setting? And do you use performance optimization? I'm curious to know how this affects you guys, but for me personally, it's not so much, so I just leave it off, especially because I do content creating, YouTube, streaming, which you guys should follow, by the way. Links in the description, shameless self-promotion. But anyway, yep, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic day.